Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about two-way tables, okay? In your workbook, go to page 689. So again, that's 689, okay? We're going to start with this Venn diagram first because I want to show you how this Venn diagram works from the data that we're given. There's also something else I kind of wanted to add to it. So here we go. We have student athletes, right? And it looks like there's some information in here. So there was a survey of 440 students, and they were asked whether or not they were on the honor roll and whether they played a sport. And so this circle is going to represent honor roll. This circle is going to represent sport. So if we go fill in some information, if they were only on the honor roll and did not play a sport, then that 115 would go over here. If they only played a sport and not on the honor roll, that 45, it's going to go in this circle, but it's going to go over here on this side. And then if they played a sport and were on the honor roll, there were 250 of them. That would be this piece right here because this is the piece that they have in common. Okay, now why am I going over that? Why am I going over this with you? Because we're going to take this same information and we're going to put it in what's called a two-way table. Okay, so let's go flip the page and take a look. So here is that same information, just in a two-way table instead. So we have people on the honor roll, we have people that played a sport. Okay, if they were on the honor roll and they played a sport, that's 250. Those were the people that were inside that circle, remember? If they were on the honor roll and not playing a sport, there were 115 of them. If they were not on the honor roll but they did play a sport, there were 45 of them. That was this number right here, right? And then if they were not on the honor roll and they did not play a sport, they have a 30 right here, okay? So, and again, you can add, you can just kind of show where these are and how there's 440. It's just a nice, neat little way to show all the information that we have. So I just want to go back really quickly to this Venn diagram that we had. And I'm actually going to get my calculator because I want to show you something. If I add up all of these numbers, 115, 45, and 250, I get 410. But it said that there were 440 students. So that's where that 30 came from back here on the other side, right? That's where that 30 came from. I'm sorry, it was on this page. Okay, that's where that 30 came from. So on the Venn diagram, we're going to put that 30 down here. They were not in the honor roll, so it doesn't go in the circle, and they were not on a sport, so again, that doesn't go in the circle either. So that 30 is here, and then you can see if you add all of these numbers up, you'll get 440, and that's how many students were actually surveyed. All right, so get your calculators ready. What we're going to do is we're going to fill in some information, okay, and fill in these tables, this two-way table that they made. So Philippe surveyed students. He found there were 78 students that own a cell phone, okay, so cell phone total is 78. 57 of those students own an MP3 player. So 57 of them have an MP3 player. How many of them do not have an MP3 player? And so in this box, you're going to do 78 minus 57. And that's where that 21 comes from. Okay. There are 13 students that do not have a cell phone, so no cell phone, but own an MP3 player. And so there's 13 of them with the phone, or no phone with an MP3 player. 9 students do not have either one of them. So how many total is that don't have a cell phone? So yeah, you add 13 and 9, and that's where the 22 comes from. Okay, and then your totals, you're just going to kind of add some stuff up. So 57 plus 13 goes here. 21 plus 9, that goes here. This number, when you add this way, you should get this number, and when you add this way, you should also get that number. So let's go down and double check. 57 and 13 is 70, 21 and 9 is 30, 78 and 22 is 100. Do these add up to give us 78? Yep. How about 13 and 9? Yep. And then 70 and 30? Yes. So everything kind of adds up on its way through and on its way in the chart. All right, so let's go take some information and see if we can organize it into this two-way chart, okay? So it looks like we have 150 children at summer camp, 71 are signed up for swimming, a total of 62 children that signed up for canoeing, and 28 of them signed up for swimming. Okay, so we're going to construct a two-way table. The first thing that I want you to notice is that there's a swimming and no swimming, a canoeing and no canoeing, okay? The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to go add in some totals. So it says there are 150 children at summer camp. So there's 150 total. That number is going to go here, okay? 71 signed up for swimming. So we don't know anything about whether or not they're canoeing or not, but we know that 71 of them are swimming. Okay, if I subtract 150 and 71, and I just did that over on the side on my calculator, that means that 79, okay, are going to be signed up to not go swimming. 71 signed up for swimming, 79 did not. Okay, so this number, again, came from 150 minus 71. All right, now let's do the next one. There were a total of 62 for canoeing. So remember canoeing and not canoeing? There were 62 total that are canoeing. Okay? And then it says 28 of them also signed up for swimming. So 28 of these canoeing people also signed up for swimming. So we're going to put a 28 right there. Okay? All right, let's go fill in the rest. So we got this number by subtracting. Let's go get this number by subtracting. So we're going to do 150 minus 62 to get that number. And I'm just using my handy dandy calculator, and it looks like I got an 88. Okay. This number, we have 62 total signed up for canoeing. 28 of them are going to go swimming. So 62 minus 28 leaves me with 34 right here. And then you can just do some subtracting to get the other numbers. So 71 minus 28 is 43. 79 minus 34 is going to be 45. And let's just do a quick check. Is 43 plus 45 88? Yes, it is, so we know we're good. And there you have it. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is what's called a relative frequency. Okay, a relative frequency is just a percentage. Okay, and so sometimes it helps to talk about, hey, what percent of people have a cell phone? What percent of people are going to be going swimming versus canoeing? Okay, so sometimes it just helps to talk about that. Now, how do you find a percentage? When you find the relative frequency, you're going to be finding the value and you're going to divide by the total number. Okay, and so if you take a look, 57 people have a cell phone, and so 57 with an MP3 player, and so this is 57 out of 78. So we put a out of 78 under there. This is 21 out of 78, so you put the 78 under there. Okay? All right, let's go do the got it at the top of the page in the next one. So this one says to find and interpret the relative frequencies of students in the survey by column this time. So we're going to go down, okay? If we take a look at that problem that we just did, it said to find the relative frequencies by row, okay? This one says to do by column, okay? So now I'm going to do 57 out of 70. Okay, so I'm just going to divide, and I'm just going to do that in my calculator. So 57 divided by 70. is, and we're going to round, so nearest hundredth, and so this is 0.81. Okay, 13 out of 70. And so I get 0.19. So it's 81%, 19%. Okay? And when I do 70 out of 70, I should get 1, but let's just double check. Is my 0.81 plus 0.19 equal to 1? Oh, shoo, thank goodness we did something right. All right, 21 out of 30. 0.7. 9 out of 30. 0.3. 30 out of 30 is going to be a 1, and is 0.7 plus 0.3 equal to a 1? Oh, again, shoo, good. All right, now is the time. You're going to go down and you're going to pause your screen, go do the guided practice, and check your answers with mine. Okay, so I went ahead and did number 1 for us. I filled in the pieces of information, so I put my 38 first, I put the 70, I put the 92, and then the 41. And then just by adding and subtracting, I filled in the other numbers. So just double check your numbers with mine, okay? Number 2, all I went through and did was figure out the totals, and I apologize because I didn't write down the totals for 7th and 8th grade. So this is definitely 62, and this is going to be an 88, okay? What I wanted to talk to you about, though, is which one do we do? Do we do rows or do we do columns, right, to figure out the relative frequency? And so sometimes you have to make that decision yourself, okay? And so do we want to talk about a percentage of 7th graders that get their news from TV? Do we want a percentage of 7th graders that get their news from the internet? Or do we want a percentage of everybody that gets their news from the TV versus everybody that gets their news from the internet? So I kind of like keeping these separate, and so I'm going to go and do it by rows, okay, because you get a little more information. So let's go do that. So we're going to do 13 divided by 62. Okay, so I know that there's 21% of students, 7th graders, that get their news from the TV. Okay, 49 divided by 62 is 0.79. So I know there's almost 80% of people get their news from the internet. Okay, by the way, I get my news from the internet. So 79 and 21 is going to be our 1. So that's awesome. That works out. Let's do 20 divided by 88. And we get 23. And so notice these percentages are about the same, right? So about the same percent of 7th and 8th graders get their information from, or their news from the TV. 68 divided by 88 gives us, oops, I must have typed in something wrong. Nope, I did it again. 68 divided by 88 is going to be 77. And so that definitely equals 1, so that's a good thing. And look, again, about the same percentage of people get their news, 7th and 8th graders, from the internet. So that's kind of a good thing. Okay, I'm hoping that this is somewhat clear for you. Your assignment today is going to be relatively easy. The only thing that I want you to do is on page 693. These are the only things that I want you to complete. You only have 4 problems, okay? So page 693, only these 4 problems. Make sure you send me some questions if you have any.